the Bandwagon. You guys are awesome, man.
What's up, everybody? This is Brendon Ayanbadejo, 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl world champion, and you guys are listening to the Bandwagon.
In today's episode of the Bandwagon,
my fine-tooth comb. Wow. I got to look at the drunk driving arrest with my fine-tooth comb. Three-time NFL Pro Bowler Brendon Ayanbadejo joins the show to talk about his career and his goals.
You know, if you would have caught me last year, I said I wanted to live to 100. But this year, I want to live to 130 years old. So it's about sustainability. Like, the joints need to work. Wow. Everything needs to function. So the body's got to be right. So to live 130.
And? No clue.
Okay, you act like you've been sitting here watching Toronto Raptors games. You don't even know what the NBA is, Alex. You don't know what the NBA is.
I think I do. Thank you.
Let's get to it.
All the day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. Rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet, rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet. Blow, run, Robin, 'cause we really gonna rock 'em tonight.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today is Friday, February 16th, 2018. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's edition of the Bandwagon Sports Podcast. Great show for you today as three-time NFL Pro Bowler Brendon Ayanbadejo, I didn't slaughter it, enters the wagon. From a university in the middle of Wisconsin, my name is Alex Strouf. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_Strouf, S-T-R-O-U-F. Joining me as always from the University of North Carolina Podcast Lab, my right-hand man, my partner in crime, Mr. Victor Hensley. You can find Vic on Twitter at Frezeal, F-R-E-Z-E-A-L-33. That's Frezeal33 on Twitter. Mr. Victor.
What up? How you doing?
What up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's been a long time since we talked to each other.
It's been a minute. How are you?
It has been a couple of minutes. I'm well.
I asked you that about 30 seconds ago, so that's good.
You did?
Glad nothing has changed.
Yeah, nothing changed in those 30 seconds. We've had a Super Bowl since we've talked to each other.
Yes.
And I just want to point out to all those listening at home, Alex Strouf, you picked the New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl.
I did.
You essentially said the Eagles had no chance, and you told me that me picking the Eagles to win was simply bias on my part. How do you feel?
I don't think that's what I said, but wow.
Yeah, you did. We've got it on tape. We've got it on tape on the show. Rewind the last show. We'll listen to it. Because I promise you said it was biased that I picked the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, it happened. Go Eagles. Fly Eagles, fly.
I'm happy about it.
Me too. My man Alshon Jeffrey getting that ring. My man Torrey Smith getting that ring. My man LeGarrette Blount getting that ring. Another ring. I'm telling you.
What makes them your guys, both Alshon and LeGarrette Blount?
Alshon's one of my favorite receivers in the league. Just always loved him. I wanted him to come to the Ravens after he left the Bears, and that didn't happen. LeGarrette, I'm just a big LeGarrette Blount guy. I don't even know why. He's played for Pittsburgh and New England, but I still love him. That's my guy. He's on my fantasy team this year, and he kind of sucked, but that's all right.
He's won 2 straight rings, so that's kind of neat.
How cool is that with 2 different teams?
Wow, incredible.
How incredible. Chris Long also did the same thing.
Congrats, Chris.
Give it to him.
Break out the dog masks.
So, anyway, more recent topics. The NBA trade deadline was also last week. I haven't talked to you since then. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on that we haven't gotten to discuss.
The Cavaliers are good again.
Are they?
Yeah, they beat my Thunder and they beat the what are their names? The Celtics. Well done. Well done. What am I talking about? They beat them by a lot of points.
They did. But it's just 2 regular season games, man. Calm yourself.
They're still going to the finals.
They're not going to the. Jesus Christ! I just love how they made the moves on the trade deadline day. They made all these moves. They sent D Wade out, Jay Crowder out, Derrick Rose out. Everybody. They sent everybody away.
Isaiah
Thomas. That was the big one. They sent everybody out of Cleveland, and everybody was freaking out. A lot of people were talking about what are they doing? Like, why are they doing this? This is terrible. They're not going anywhere.
Nobody said that.
People were saying that on Twitter. That's what everybody was saying. And then all of a sudden they win 2 games in a row, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they're finals bound! Wow, wow, wow!" Like
they are. They were
not
always
finals,
finals bound. They
were
always,
not always final. You're telling me when they were falling to the 4 seed, they were finals bound?
Yes.
In the Eastern Conference?
Yes.
Oh man, you're funny.
If you think LeBron James isn't going to the finals, you're wrong.
I mean, well, when there's a better team standing in his way, probably not going to happen.
No.
He's been to what, 7 straight finals?
Yeah.
Yeah, there hasn't been a better team standing in his way since the entire time. The Boston Celtics are a better team. They're going to go to the finals.
The Toronto Raptors are better than the Celtics.
They're not.
They are.
Okay, well, they might be at this moment.
This Raptors team is different from last year.
It's the same.
They're better.
They're not, though. It's the same personnel. The team is almost the exact same.
But the system, what they do defensively, they are different.
Toronto does the same thing.
Have you watched Toronto play this year? Have you watched Toronto
Have
play
I physically sat down and watched a Toronto Raptors game? No, I have not.
Then what are you talking about? You have no clue.
Okay, you act like you've been sitting here watching Toronto Raptors games. You don't even know what the NBA is, Alex. You don't know what the NBA is.
I think I do. Thank you. But yes, I have seen a Toronto Raptors game on national television.
Okay, I've casually glanced at a television while they're playing, but have I sat down and watched a game? No.
They are not the same team anymore. They're winning. They're winning it all. No.
The Toronto Raptors are the exact same every single year. They're a top seed in the Eastern Conference. They go to the playoffs and do absolutely nothing. That's Toronto.
It will be Cleveland and Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It will not be.
Yes, it will.
Cleveland. It will be Cleveland and Boston.
Toronto will be the top seed in the East.
Okay, what happened to Boston? Boston was great. Has been great all year up until like the last week or two. And now all of a sudden, everybody's like saying they're terrible, as you are.
I'm not saying they're terrible.
You said you're not even giving them like a shot to go to the finals. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference.
I'm not giving anybody a shot to go to the finals besides LeBron James.
The Boston Celtics have been the top of the Eastern Conference all season long.
Toronto has been. You're wrong.
Boston has been in first almost the entire season up until recently.
Yeah.
Right.
But Toronto's better than them.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not even arguing Toronto. I'm arguing that Boston's better than Cleveland.
False.
Who does Cleveland have on their team, Alex? Other than LeBron James.
The best player in the world.
I understand that. I really understand that. I get it. I understand. Okay. I get that. Okay. Okay.
You're taking Kyrie Irving and Al Horford over LeBron James?
Well, considering the fact that LeBron James has nobody else on the floor, yeah.
You're wrong and you know it. I'm done talking about this.
No, you can't. Listen,
you're wrong.
You need to give me a better reason that the Cleveland's...
It's the All-Star break. Why are we arguing about this?
Okay, no, because you need to give me a better reason that Cleveland's making the finals other than they have LeBron James. There has to be something else.
That's all it takes.
You do realize that eventually LeBron James is not going to make the finals, right? Like, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just saying,
we're done here.
Cleveland doesn't have the talent. They don't have the big man talent, especially. Larry Nance ain't going to be able to fight his way through the playoffs. Tristan Thompson and Larry Nance. Wow.
Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood is not a big man, so try again. They don't have anybody in the paint. I mean, Larry Nance has played great the 2 games he's been there.
Kevin Love will be back.
Kevin Love is Kevin Love, so try again.
That's accurate.
I mean, who else they got on the team? Start spitting other names at me, Alex. This team is a joke. Honestly, the help on this team is a joke. J.R. Smith, is J.R. Smith going to do something? No, he's not going to do anything. Give me a break. Who's their point guard? Jordan Clarkson is their point guard. No, is it George Hill?
George Hill.
George Hill. Wow, sorry. My fault. If this was 2011, maybe I'd be excited. But it's not. Wow. All right, speaking of the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I think we need to pick our celebrity game winners. That's what happened on Friday night. That's what happened. Okay. That's what's happening tonight. So, I mean, what's going to go down? Who is going to win the All-Star celebrity game? You want me to say the rosters real quick? I'll say the rosters real quick.
Yeah, go for it, but don't forget about the breaking news.
Oh, I can't forget about the breaking news. Don't even worry.
Quavo.
So, I actually have no clue what teams. Oh no, we're good. So Team Clippers I don't know why they're all of a sudden naming them Team Clippers and Team Lakers. They don't ever do this for any celebrity All-Star game ever, but that's okay. So Team Clippers is Miles Brown, Brandon Armstrong, Dasha Polanco, Anthony Anderson, Andre DeGrassi, Jamie Foxx.
What's up, Jamie Foxx?
Bubba Watson, Common, Paul Pierce, Jason Williams, Stephanie Dolson, Wynn Butler, and the big news is Quavo.
Quavo!
Okay, so that's Team Clippers.
She goes strip it down, honey. Oh, yeah. That's a good plug, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Team Lakers is Caleb McLaughlin, Jerry Ferreira, Rachel Demita, Nick Cannon, Drew Scott. You love Nick Cannon?
No, one before that.
Oh, yeah, my girl Rachel. Yeah, she's great. Drew Scott, Chris Wu, Sterling Brim, Terrence Crawford, Tracy McGrady, T-Mac, Nate Robinson, Candace Parker, Mark Lassery, and the man, the myth, the legend, the Biebs, Justin Bieber.
And I was like, baby, 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 no, like, baby, 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 no, like, baby, 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 oh, Team Lakers gonna win the game, Nate.
I have gotten requests from listeners to tell me that have told me to tell you to quit singing on the show.
Oh, I've heard that too, but that's okay.
You're not listening to our listeners.
Right.
They hate you, essentially.
That's okay.
I mean, okay.
Was that a real request, or did you just want me to stop singing?
I've heard some requests. Not kidding around. I don't play around. I don't play games, Alex. Yeah. If you think anyone other than Team Lakers is gonna win this, it's kind of silly.
Paul Pierce is just gonna light it up.
Paul Pierce. I look at the Team Clippers lineup, and I have almost no idea who any of those people are. Like the first 7 I named, I don't know who you are. I mean, like, how is Bubba Watson gonna come in and ball? You know what I mean?
He's gonna bring out a putter or something. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Oh, you might start smacking people with punters, not punters, putters.
Yeah. Also, I enjoy the fact that Mark Lassery is playing, the co-owner of the Bucks.
I think that's really cool, actually. You think he's gonna dunk?
No.
Okay, well he should.
I think he's like 5'11".
Do you think he's gonna pay for playing time?
Maybe.
There's a chance, isn't there? He's probably got a couple bucks in his pocket.
Also,
so.
Drew Scott from Property Brothers. Yeah, I don't know which one's which. I've watched that show like twice.
That's more times than I've watched it.
Fair enough.
Nick Cannon. That's my X factor. Nick Cannon.
Going through a divorce, pissed off.
Is he going through a divorce?
Aren't him and Mariah done?
I thought they split up like 6 years ago. I have no clue. I don't care.
You can tell I'm intact with celebrity pop culture.
Nick Cannon is one of the most who cares about that man? No offense, Nick, but he got famous.
No offense, but nobody cares about you. Is what you were basically saying.
No, he got famous, but why did he get famous? Was he on television or something? He was semi a rapper, but nobody's ever heard a song by him. So is he really a rapper? I don't know. He does Wild and Out, but he got famous before then.
Wild. He
began
as a teenager on All That before going.
Oh yeah, All That. I've seen that show.
Before going on to the Nick Cannon show.
I've never heard of the Nick Cannon show. No offense, Nick.
That was on Nickelodeon.
Wow. Okay. Well, apparently that was before my time or something.
It had 2 seasons and 27 episodes.
That's sad.
Jeff Fisher was a producer.
Jeff Fisher? The Jeff Fisher?
I don't think it was the Jeff Fisher.
The Jeff Fisher was a producer of the Nick Cannon show?
Apparently.
He is hip like that, so you're right. No, but for real, I mean, any team that has Nate Robinson, Rachel Demita, Tracy McGrady, and Candace Parker, come on. Come on.
Come on.
This is easy. This is simple money. Who's winning the dunk contest, Alex?
Oh, Dennis Smith.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think my man Vic got it. My man Vic got robbed when he was in the last dunk contest.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine just stays robbing everybody, man.
Yeah.
He robbed Vic.
True.
He sure robbed Aaron. AG had that a couple years ago. That still bothers me.
Yep.
Do you care about the dunk contest anymore? Is that like a thing?
Yes, that's one of the few things I watch over All-Star Weekend.
I mean, it's all right. Yeah. Do you remember that one year, like a couple years ago, when they had that weird format where they had like teams?
Oh yeah.
That was the worst. They had that one year, and everybody was like, "This sucks."
Now this year there's only what? Or no, that's the three. Or no, yeah, that's the dunk contest. There's only 4 competitors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm fine with it as long as they don't suck.
Right.
But it's all right. I don't know. Hopefully, my man AG gets in it next year because RIP to him. But it's all right. That's like as an Orlando Magic fan, like we have literally nothing to look forward to except for maybe we'll win the dunk contest. Like we've had a person in the dunk contest like the last 3 years and they've all lost. And it's just like we got to do something. Like we can't win games. We can't win dunk contests. Like we can't win anything.
Get Alfred Payton and his ugly hair in the. Oh wait a minute, never mind.
Yeah, he got traded. So, which is fine with me, but he got traded.
I thought you were a big Alfred guy.
I love Alfred. He just wasn't good. Neither
is his hairdo. So
no, not really. He's one of the only players or the only point guards in the league that literally can't shoot the ball ever. Like, how are you a point guard in the NBA and can't shoot the ball? Like that's unheard of. True. By the way, speaking of point guards, we literally didn't say a word about Isaiah Thomas.
I just like the fact that him and Rondo got into it.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I think we all love Rajon Rondo. Like that dude He doesn't care. The dude just get in with anybody. He was start yelling at everybody. It's just like he's great. Isaiah Thomas is getting on my nerves, so I don't. Just get him out of here.
You just gotta love double ejections.
That's the best thing about sports.
It was a Lakers Pelicans game, and they got ejected over something that had something to do with the Celtics.
That's the NBA for you. That's the NBA this year. So that just sums it up in a nutshell. The NBA makes no sense.
Just ridiculous. We'll be back on the other side with You Ask, We Answer, Suggestion Circle, and Bandwagon. But first, we're going to bring in former NFL Pro Bowl linebacker, former Raven Vic, former Chicago Bear. His name is Brendon Ayanbadejo. Let's bring him into the Bandwagon now. We are joined now by 10-year NFL veteran, 3-time Pro Bowler, and Super Bowl champion with the Ravens just a few years ago. His name is Brendon Ayanbadejo. Brendon, thank you for joining us today on the Bandwagon.
Awesome, guys. I'm excited to be on. It's been a while since I've talked football with anybody outside of someone in my living room, so I'm excited to talk in front of your fans today.
Well, let's start there, I guess. I mean, if you want to talk football, let's talk football. Obviously, the big game last week. Give me any takeaways. The Eagles won their first Super Bowl. That's pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. So many Eagle fans that have been waiting a long time for this championship, for this victory. And, they've had good teams in the past. Obviously, no team's as good as this particular team. I thought that it was an amazing football game. I love that the teams came out basically in dime defense, so they're taking the linebackers out, they're adding DBs, so that's why you saw both teams had successful run games. Thought it was one of the better games, higher quality football games we've seen in a long time, but I was kind of surprised by the downturn of the fanfare. So it wasn't as big of a deal. It wasn't as big of a spectacle as we usually anticipate. The commercials weren't as big, but the game was better than ever, so it was kind of a little oxymoronic or a little contradictory, but nonetheless, I was there for the football game, and it was amazing.
And speaking of the Eagles' opponents, the New England Patriots, you guys had some pretty good battles against the Patriots. So I just want to know, we've talked to a couple former Ravens before, former really opponents. We talked to former Steelers running back Jonathan Dwyer just a couple weeks ago about the Pats. And they all seem to have the same sentiment of they don't like New England. What's your opinion on playing New England and playing Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Oh, man. I think, everyone asks me who my favorite team is, and my favorite team is whoever's playing New England that week. So, I played in the Bears-Green Bay rivalry, which was huge at the time, biggest rivalry in the NFL. Then I played in the Steelers-Ravens rivalry, which at the time was then the biggest rivalry in the NFL. Now, I think eventually it just became the Ravens-Patriots rivalry since we were the only team that could really beat them. And then that kind of around the time I retired was the biggest rivalry in the NFL. And now the biggest rivalry in the NFL is whoever's playing the Patriots because they're so darn good. And everybody wants to see the Patriots lose. All they do is win. So, hey, they got, by way of hate, they have everybody's respect because everybody wants to hate on the Patriots, an amazing football team, an amazing product they put on the field every week.
Now, does some of that hate, Brendon, does that originate from that 2011, I hate to bring it up, but that 2011 AFC title game, and then maybe it started there, and then you beat them the next year, which ended up being your second to final game in the NFL. So, I mean, I guess two-part question. A, is that where the hate originate from? And B, how special was it to beat those Patriots in your second to final game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back before that. I think it goes back to when, the Patriots started having all the beyond accusations when they were caught for cheating several times. I think, no one really likes a cheater, and especially if they keep winning, and there's really no repercussions on the field. They're still able to, have an amazing system, amazing coaches, amazing players. They're still able to go out there and win, even when you take away draft picks and you find them and you do all the things that you do. So I think that's kind of why the whole NFL hates them. But then they win all the time. In my career, my 5 years in the AFC, actually with the Ravens, we played the Patriots 3 out of our 5 playoff appearances. We went to Foxborough. We beat them 2 out of 3 times. I want to say that was 2010, 11, and 12, or 9, 11, and 12. I can't remember, but we beat them 2 out of 3 times. But they're always tough battles. They're always tough football games, and their fans go crazy. And just when you think you're getting the momentum, their fans have a way of getting their team back in the football game, and the team gets back in the game, and it's always just going to be a close, tough battle. So I think they're a tough team. They're a team. They're kind of like the Warriors are right now. Everybody's against the Warriors because the Warriors are so darn good. But I think that's really what it stems from, just them being a really good football team, and then just some of the things that have happened in their past, whether it's Deflategate or stealing plays or calls on the sideline or stealing stuff out of the locker room, videotaping other teams' practices, stuff like that. So, the rivalries are heated with them, and any other good football team, it's going to be a tough football game.
And just, a week ago, February 3rd, was the 5-year anniversary of when you won your Super Bowl with the Ravens. So could you just give me, some reflections of that Super Bowl run with Joe Flacco being so good and Jacoby Jones doing what he was doing? How does it feel 5 years later?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when, if you, the day we won the Super Bowl, February 3rd, 2013, I felt great for a week, a month. It felt like Christmas for a month straight. Then you go, the 1 year anniversary, it felt like Christmas for maybe 3 weeks. And then, you go 2 years after you win the Super Bowl, you still feel good for maybe 2 weeks after, the Super Bowl. Now, I felt good for 1 day, 2 days. Of course, every February 3rd, I go back, look at the ring, and I reflect about it. And, it brings a lot of emotions and brings back a lot of memories. And, maybe it just lasts for 1 or 2 days, and then you just go back to being a normal person. You might post on your Instagram, I'm a Super Bowl champ, I'm a world champion, and your ego gets inflated real quick. But then it goes away. So it's fleeting, So, but February 3rd will be a special day. Maybe in 5 or 6 years, I might feel good about it for an hour instead of feeling good for a day or two. Maybe it'll just diminish a little bit, but there's always going to be that little sparkle, that little glimmer where I'm going to feel good about being a Super Bowl champ. And it doesn't have to be February 3rd to reflect on that either, but of course that's a special day.
And unfortunately, me and Alex, since we've never played a down of football in our lives, we probably will never be on a team that goes to the Super Bowl. So I really just want.
I would say that's a safe bet. Yeah, that's probably a good bet.
So I just want to know, what's it like, preparing for Super Bowl? What can just being a part of, a Super Bowl team? And do you have any specific stories from when you went to the Super Bowl? Anything like that?
Man, I can't say there's anything specific, but it is a weird feeling when everybody's at home and there's only 2 teams left. And not only that, you're going and you're in someone else's locker room that's there, for 16, 17 weeks, actually more than that. You count preseason, you're there 20 weeks out of the season, and then you're there. And their stuff's not in the locker room. You don't see anything. We're practicing when we played in New Orleans. And then the other time I was in the Super Bowl with the Bears, we're in Miami. And, one of the Colts were using the Miami Dolphins locker room. We actually didn't have their locker room, but it's just a weird feeling that everybody's at home and they're watching you, and you're texting and talking to your friends, and you're on your your normal in-season schedule, but everybody else is out all over the place. They might be in Hawaii or they might be on vacation, and you're sitting there, just another football game, of course, the biggest game of the year, but you're trying to make it as normal of a week as possible. But it's just a weird feeling because, you got friends all over the league, with the 32 teams, some of the kids you played with in high school and some of the guys you played with in college, or some of them you played with on other NFL teams. So everyone's always talking and everybody's buddy, but you're just there. It's you and your 53 guys and that other team and their 53 guys, and then the whole NFL and the whole world is watching you. So it is a big spectacle. It is a big deal, and it's just a weird feeling to be there. And then the game, with the performers, we had Prince one game and then we had Beyonce the other game, and it's just crazy. Like, there's going to be a full-blown concert at halftime. The pregame's going to be extra long, and then, of course, somebody famous is going to sing the national anthem. I believe we had Alicia Keys, and it's just crazy that all that stuff is going on in the middle of a football game. So it's a big spectacle, and you can't let that outshine the game and overshadow the game, because you're there to handle business and get a championship. And, one time I was on a team that did the wrong thing. The other time I was on a team that did the right thing. And luckily for me, I'm able to forever be a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, Brendon, and I want to ask, 10 great years, 3 of which resulted in Pro Bowl runs. Most of that time was spent on special teams, and you were one of the best special teams players over that decade you were in the NFL. So we refer to you as a special teams god. So I want to know, what was your secret, man? What made you so good on the
Man, I think, it's kind of crazy because I'm really built for today's NFL. I wasn't built for the NFL 15 years ago. So, there was somewhere where I had to just be on the field and be the best player on the field, and it just happened to be on special teams. I think, for me, I always played on teams with really good defenses, whether it's Junior Seau, Jason Taylor, Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs. Then you got Ed Reed, you got Ray Lewis, Haloti Ngata, Terrell Suggs. Like, I played with all these amazing guys on defense, but my niche was special teams. And then who did I have? I had Jacoby, I had Hester, I had Wes Welker. I had guys that were, scoring touchdowns in Super Bowls or going to Pro Bowls with me as special teams guys as well. Robbie Gould, Justin Tucker, like amazing kickers. So the teams I was on, we're defensive special teams, and every coach is like, hey, even though, you're not playing as much as you want to play on defense, we consider you a starter. We're going to pay you like we pay defensive players, and special teams is our bread and butter. So you fit in with us. I definitely wished I'd played more defense, but if I was playing in today's NFL, I might not have as many Pro Bowls on special teams, but I'd be playing so much defense in this passing league that they have. And I'm more cut out, as a 230-pound linebacker that runs a 4.40, benches 225, 30 times, 40-inch vertical. Like, I'm a speed guy, So I'm more suited for today's NFL than 2 yards in a cloud of dust where you're just trying to tackle Jerome Bettis on every play.
Right. So Brendon, we'll get to some of those great players that you mentioned that you played with, but I want to ask about something you mentioned 2 questions ago, and that was the Beyonce halftime show. You played in that Super Bowl with the power outage. I want to know what was going on. What was it, like a 40-minute delay? I think it was. Can you just explain what was going through your team's head and everybody else's head? Just the scene at the Super Bowl during that power outage.
Yeah, I think it was a 20-minute delay, but shoot, it might have felt like 40 minutes. But what was going on was the power went out, and mysteriously the 49ers had been losing in 2 other games before that, and the power went out, and they came back in one. But this game, we're like, oh, it's just inevitable, even though they took kind of the wind out of our sails and they mounted a major comeback after that. But we're like, no, this game's over. We're going to put the nail in the coffin. They're not coming back. And of course, we ended up winning on a goal line stance at the very end of the game. So it ended up being really close. But we didn't pull on Atlanta Falcons, though.
The NFL did the power outage on purpose, didn't they?
Nah, I doubt it. I'm not a big conspiracy guy. I think something really blew, but
see, I, as a big Ravens fan, I've always said 2 things about that Super Bowl. Number 1, Jimmy Smith didn't hold on Michael Crabtree at the very end of that game on the goal line stand. And number 2, the NFL organized the power outage. 100% believe it. So maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist. It happened.
Well, imagine the power outage, right? So there's the power outage. And then, we're dominating them the whole game. We're up. And then we just go and just continue to dominate you. Then you're making a bad game worse with the power outage. Now, okay, there was the power outage and they mounted the comeback, and now it's like, okay, there'll forever be this controversy, like how did the power go out, end up being a really good football game. So it could have went the other way, and then, they probably, no one would remember the power outage if we just blew them out, but since it ended up being a close game, then I guess it ends up being a little bit controversial.
Right. And so one thing we talked to your former teammate Bernard Pollard about back in November was he's got some beef with Coach John Harbaugh. And there was the whole, quote-unquote mutiny thing that happened that the media ran with during the 2012 season. So we just kind of want to get your take on the whole thing. Like, how did you like playing under John Harbaugh? Did you guys ever have any problems? And, what were you in the locker room for the whole quote-unquote mutiny?
Yeah, I mean, everybody was there, for that. And we were present. It was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen happen in a locker room, where the players kind of took a stand and the coach was like, hey, you guys didn't trust me. I was going to give this to you guys anyways before you even brought it up. So then it, kind of makes you think, like, did we do the right thing? But at the end of the day, we all met on the same place, all as men, and we got through all those issues. And that team had a lot of different issues that year, and that was the difference between that team and any other team I ever played on. Any issues that came up, the team dealt with it together, and so that was a beautiful thing. I mean, of course, I had my whole thing where I was talking about marriage equality, and there were some guys that didn't agree with it, and then we had a vote. There was a vote in Minnesota where one of my teammates was supporting no marriage equality, and then, of course, I was leading a charge in Baltimore where I was supporting it. You had that whole kind of semi-mutiny thing where guys wanted to take some time off. Then you had Ray Lewis that got hurt, and then that was the first year they instituted where you can go on IR and come back. So just so many things happened that year. And, yeah, with Coach Harbaugh, the thing about him is that he believes in two things. He believes if you win, you look at things under a magnifying glass and you find out, what can you do better so you can win with even more margin. And if you lose, then you look at things under a microscope. So no matter what, win, lose, draw, how are you going to get better out of that? And a lot of teams, they don't believe in that. If you win, it's like, okay, we won, keep moving. Then all of a sudden you lose one, you lose two, you lose three. You're like, what the heck? Why are we losing? Because you didn't examine how you were winning and the mistakes you made while you were winning. So Harbaugh doesn't care about anything but getting better every day. So if you're a really good player, you're not great yet. You're good. So he's always going to challenge you. Of course, if you're a crappy player, then you're always going to be challenged because he's trying to get you to be good. So that was just the thing with Harbaugh. He's always going to challenge you no matter who you are. If you're good, you're great.
I wanted to jump into just a little bit more before we have a couple questions for you before we let you go. You've been great with your time, so we appreciate it. You mentioned it briefly. I wanted to bring it up just a little bit more. You've been a huge advocate for gay rights for a long time. You mentioned the charge you led.
You mentioned it briefly. I wanted to bring it up.
That caused a little bit of a stir, but I want to know how important is it for athletes to stand up for what they believe is right?
You mentioned the charge you led. That caused a little bit of a stir, but I want to know, how important is it for athletes to stand up for what they believe is right?
Yeah, I think it's very important, but of course you got to be on the right side of history as well, so you got to be believing in the right things. And then, if you really believe in them, like Colin Kaepernick, then you have to fall on the sword for it. So for me, I was willing to fall on the sword. Cap fell on the sword. Of course, he had a lot more negative repercussions than I had in my career. And then there's some other guys that are dealing with that as well in the league, but you just got to be on the right side. And in 100 years, and even like right now, one of the biggest compliments that I receive is that someone will pull me over on the side of the street and they say, hey, I recognize you. My professor taught me about you in college. Or a younger lady or gentleman will pull me aside and say, oh, I know who you are. My teacher taught about you in high school. So in 100 years, we're going to be talking about Colin Kaepernick and what he's done to advance equal rights. And, we might not be talking about, which quarterback was doing what or what players were doing what and what their stats were and all that stuff, but we'll still be talking about Colin Kaepernick. So I think it's pretty important that you side on the right side of history, and then you fall on your sword if you have to for that cause. Because that, equality, freedom, First Amendment, all that stuff comes before being able to play football. Football's, a luxury. There's people in other countries that don't have any freedom, any equality, and they're just trying to fight to get food on the table or fighting for opportunity. And we have way more than that. So we have to continue to make sure that everybody has those rights and those equalities that the majority of the population have.
And earlier you talked about how, you played with some of the best special teamers, the best defenders in the history of the game, really. So we want to put you on the spot real quick, and I have this is a two-part question. Number one, who was the best return man you played with? Is it Devin Hester or Jacoby Jones? And then who was the best defensive player you ever played with?
Okay. Best return man I played with is hands down Devin Hester, the best.
Yep.
And he's just a special athlete. And while I played with Devin Hester, he played offense, he played defense, he played special teams. So he did it all. And of course he did. He was a return man better than any athlete that's ever played in the NFL. I can't leave without talking about Justin Tucker and how amazing of an athlete and kicker and opera singer and talented guy he is as a kicker. But he's just an amazing athlete. And then defensive player, this one's kind of odd because I caught this guy in his peak. While I played with Junior Seau, I played with Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, a lot of amazing guys, Urlacher as well. But the only one I caught in their prime at the top of their game is Lance Briggs. He's the best defensive player that I played with was Lance Briggs.
Really?
Now, I'm not saying that in his prime he was better than an Urlacher in his prime, or better than a Ray Lewis in his prime, or better than an Ed Reed in his prime. But I caught Lance Briggs at the peak of his career, and he was the best, most dominating defensive player I played with in my career.
That makes sense.
So final question for you, Brendon. I just want to know what you're up to now. I know you're doing a lot of work with Orange Theory, so explain to me what you're doing with Orange Theory and whatever else you're up to these days.
Yeah, so, I do a lot of philanthropic work. So, right now I'm working with the American Diabetes Association, the ADA, and every March we go to Washington, D.C. on the Capitol Hill, and we lobby for appropriations to continue the education and just continue to educate people about diabetes, and it affects 1 out of 10 Americans almost. So that's huge. I think that work's very important. And then, as for my career, I'm in franchising with the company Orange Theory Fitness. We have about 25 units in Los Angeles and San Jose, so the Silicon Valley combined. When it's all said and done, we'll end up having about 50 units. I bought into Australia as well. So I'm big into health and fitness, and I'm still adamant about doing my philanthropical work and community service work and raising my kids and raising my family. So I have a full plate, and I'm just as happy now, just as successful now as when I played in my NFL career. So I'm very fortunate to have my stuff together and to be in a very good place and continue to live the next dream after my first dream was accomplished, which was being a Super Bowl champion.
And my last quick question, how many times do you work out a day, Brendon?
So it's about sustainability. When I played in the league and I was getting paid millions of dollars to be the best in shape guy on the field, there are some days I do a triple day and other days I do a double day. So there'd be days in the week where I do 16, 17 workouts. Now I work out, I dedicate. This is when I played ball. Now I'm 41, about to be 42 this year. I dedicate probably 6 hours to fitness a week, only 6 hours. So, that might be 3 workouts, and then, a couple of days of yoga and some stretching, but there won't be more than 4 to 6 hours any given week that are dedicated to actually working out.
Our predictions were like 8 times a day because we know how into fitness you are, but yoga kind of counts, I guess, huh?
Nah, yoga's hardcore, dude. Yoga's hardcore. If you've ever done
That's what I've heard.
Yoga, it's hardcore. Yeah, it's hardcore. But I think the thing is, it's about sustainability now. So I want to live. If you would have caught me last year, I said I wanted to live to 100. But this year, I want to live to 130 years old. So it's about sustainability. Like the joints need to work. Oh. Everything needs to function. So the body's got to be right. So to live 130 years, I can't just kill my body and crush it a few times a day. It's just a few hours a week dedicated to working out. Couple of hours to mindfulness, a couple of hours to stretching, and then everything should be good if the diet component is built in.
Well, you've been great with your time. We've got 89 years to chat with you again, Brendon. So we do appreciate you taking the time
out. Let's do it. We got plenty of time, and if you guys hang around as long as me, then we're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendon. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks again to Brendon Ayanbadejo for joining us today on the Bandwagon. Yeah. Go Pro Bowlers. Go Lance Briggs.
Wow, that's my guy. I love Brendon Ayanbadejo. I used to back in 2013, I would just like randomly tweet him things. Like the other day, the day right before the interview, I decided to look up all the times I tweeted him. I would just like say, "Hey, what's your opinion of this?" and then just tweet it to him. And it's just like, what am I doing? And like he would respond a couple times. Like he responded to me.
You guys were pals.
Like we were kind of pals a little bit. He sent me a winky face one time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're close. I think.
Wow.
So he probably doesn't remember that. But it touched my heart. So
very cute.
That's all that matters.
Very cute. Well, let's move on.
I thought he worked out
let's
a little more than that, but
I was expecting like 8 times a day. Yeah.
At least. Probably more than that, but it's okay. Next up, we got a great segment, the cornerstone segment nowadays, the best segment on the show in my opinion, anyway. You ask, we answer. So if you don't know what You Ask, We Answer is, we go to the epitome of knowledge, aka Yahoo Answers, since we believe that we are smarter than everybody on the planet. We know that we have all the answers and you guys do not. So therefore, you ask questions, the Yahoo Answers. We go pick the best ones that we love, we think we can answer and help y'all with, and we answer them. So here we are. First up, you ready, Alex?
Let's do it. I'm always ready.
All right. First question. Amy Schumer got married. What are your thoughts?
I am so sorry to whoever married her. I cannot stand Amy Schumer.
Why did that person? I don't know who it is. I don't know if this might not even be accurate. I don't even know. But why would you marry Amy Schumer?
His name is Ben Hanisch.
Hanisch?
Yes.
Is she gonna be Amy Hanisch now?
I don't know.
That's pretty ugly. That's a little more ugly than Schumer. So, am I the only person on the planet that thinks Amy Schumer is so unfunny? Like, it makes me cringe.
Yeah, she's not funny, Victor. That's the thing.
She's so not funny. Like, nothing about Amy Schumer is funny. Like, she literally all she does is talk about intercourse with her. Like, that's all she talks about is like dirty sexual things, and like really it's just gross more than it is funny.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I just have a terrible sense of humor.
No,
but
she's not funny. You're right.
She's not.
No.
So I just can imagine Ben Hanisch or whatever his name is, Johnny Hanisch.
Sympathies sent his way.
Just like he's got like fake laugh at all her jokes. Like, imagine that.
Oops! I ate another pigs in a blanket. Oh, honey, you're so funny. Oh, Amy.
Okay, I don't know what idiot
I
that was.
ate another pigs in a blanket.
By the way, the first answer to the Amy Schumer question on Yahoo Answers is kind of makes you think there's hope for everyone. So apparently we are not the only people that think that.
That was not a good thing to say when there was a bunch of liquid in my mouth. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Next up, is time traveling possible, you think?
So, I think you and I talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, just not during a show. Stephen Hawking did an interview with his keypad or whatever, and said how he sent what did he say? He threw a party for time travelers and posted the invitation for 3 days. Said the party was like 3 days ago, and then he said nobody showed up.
He's so stupid. That's Steven.
You just said he's so stupid.
No, he's a silly one. That's really what it is.
I thought it was funny. I don't know.
I thought it was very funny. Yeah, I'm gonna say time traveling isn't possible, and Stephen Hawking kind of just like that. He proved it right there. Like, it's not possible, or somebody would have showed up to his party. If I was a time traveler and I saw an invite to a Stephen Hawking time travel party, I would have went. I'm just saying. Next up, this is a good one. This is a hard one. I don't know if we can answer this one. Does President Trump prefers figure skating or water sports? This is Winter Olympics themed, I think. So,
well, there's not any water sports in the Winter Olympics.
Okay, well, there's figure skating.
True.
If the Olympics weren't going on, this question might not have been asked.
I would say he's a figure skating guy.
Do you think he's figure skated a couple times in his life?
No.
Are you sure? Why?
The hair would fall off.
Ooh. But before he got that hair.
Well, I think he's always had that hair.
Actually-
I don't think it's fake, but it might be.
That's pretty fake. You just said the hair would fall off.
Yeah,
You know
but
what you said?
it's not actually fake. I don't think.
I don't think it is either. But do you ever remember him being on like Raw and stuff?
Yep.
When it was him and Rosie O'Donnell back in the day.
Yep.
And do you remember when he was one time? I always remember this, and I don't know why. One time he was asked, while he was standing in the ring at Raw, he was asked, "How much is your haircut?" And he said that he spends $2,000 every time he gets his haircut.
What?
Yeah, he pays the person $2,000 to do whatever that is to his head.
God, I would be angry at my barber.
But he's kept it for all these years. He's a silly one. No, he probably likes water sports. I don't know. I don't really care. Next up, do feminists want men enslaved?
I don't know. This one's tough. This one got me. I'm stumped.
Are you stumped, really? Are you really
I'm
stumped, though? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not. I didn't know that wanting equality for yourself meant enslaving others. I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think so. I wanted to skip over this one, but I guess I can't. Even though you'll see why I said that. This one says, "Can you stop ignoring me?" Are you ignoring me, Alex? I'm gonna go ahead and assume that answer is no. Okay, cool. Okay, next up, should I sit on my PS4?
For what reason?
Well, the first answer here says yes, keep it warm during the winter months. So maybe he's
he's hibernating or something.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't want it to get cold and stop working, so
That
he
makes
wants
sense.
to sit on it.
I like it.
I think
Go for
the
it.
first question, the first question I would ask though is how much do you weigh? Because you can't break it, so you got to weigh about 15 pounds.
Maybe.
Max. So if you're a small cat, then yes, you may sit on it. Other than that, probably not. And finally, can I stop my name being printed in the local paper for drunk driving?
No, I don't think.
What? Why is it the dude's name being printed in the paper for drunk driving anyway?
Because he was drunk driving?
But does every drunk driver's name get put in the paper?
Maybe he's from a small town. Drunk driving's a big deal.
Listen, Alex. If your newspaper just sits there and reports on the amount of drunk drivers, like the specific names of drunk drivers in your town,
Maybe it's like his seventh
Like-
offense or something, you know?
maybe he killed somebody. Uh-oh. Maybe he killed somebody.
Casualties. There goes the microphone.
That happens to me all the time. All the time. Well, we're not in the best setup right now, Alex. Well, I'll get to that in a second. I'm not in the best setup. I had to leave the podcast lab.
Yeah,
So I'm a little angry. I'm a little heated.
Yeah.
That's beside the point.
Probably his seventh offense, though, by the way. Or if he killed somebody, I don't think he's going to be on Yahoo Answers.
Yeah. Well, you're probably right. But that's okay. Like my thing is like, wow, who in the world's gonna be reading the paper and just see his name and be like, oh wow, like who?
Jeffrey.
First of all, who reads the newspaper anymore? You know. Second, who in the world is reading the newspaper with that fine tooth of a comb that you're legit like looking for every like little thing? You know what I mean?
Did you say fine tooth of a comb?
Fine toothed comb. Fine toothed. Toothed.
Are you sure you aren't reading the newspaper in like 1840? My fine tooth comb.
Okay. You didn't mention the fact that I'm also British, apparently. So
My fine
tooth comb. Wow.
I got to look at the drunk driving arrest with my fine tooth comb. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm saying, Alex.
What is a fine tooth comb?
I don't know. That's what people say. It's an expression. It's an
Fine-tooth
idiom. It's an
comb.
idiom or something, man. It's an idiom.
Isn't
Dang.
idiom like or as? Isn't that an idiom?
That's a simile.
Fuck.
Yeah. Wow, no wonder you had a 2.1 GPA in high school.
2.6, thank you.
That's not good, Alex. No, how did you get to college?
Here I am.
I'm very proud. That's all we got for you ask, we answer. So apparently all we solved there is the fact that I'm a British man reading the newspaper in the 1840s. So
With your fine-tooth comb.
You have a terrible accent, by the way.
Hello, my name is Victoria Hensley.
Well, okay, why am I a girl now? Why?
And I'm reading the newspaper with my fine-toothed comb in the 1840s.
Fuddies? Go home, man.
The 1840s.
Can I suggest that you need to shut up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Who's going first for the suggestion circle?
We're going on shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We both did scissors. Gotta go again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We both did rock.
Okay, alright, this is a big one.
Ooh.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yes!
Dang it! I had a
first.
strategy in my head. I thought you were going to do paper.
I
mean,
did do
thought,
paper.
No. Wait, no. What I thought you thought. I thought that you thought I was going to do paper. And that you were going to do scissors. So then I was like, I'm going to do rock to crush your scissors. Because that was the only one we hadn't done was paper. I didn't think you were actually going to do paper.
Yep. I didn't either. That was my thought process, but I want to step further. Okay, just go already.
Okay. So, I had another suggestion circle, Alex. But after the events of the past 30 minutes, I've changed it.
Are you sure you don't just want to do a soapbox for this?
Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm converting to a soapbox.
Hold on a minute.
I mean, man, I'm upset. Like, the audacity of this fellow. So, we're sitting there in the podcast lab. I'm in the podcast lab. Alex is not.
I'm in Wisconsin, everyone.
You are. So, we were doing the show. We were chilling, talking about the Cavaliers, Isaiah Thomas, and all them.
And our fine-tooth comb.
Our fine-tooth comb. Actually, that was we didn't do that in the podcast lab. Regardless, we were talking. You know, we're doing the first half of the show. Then we bring Brendon Ayanbadejo in. So while Brendon Ayanbadejo was in the bandwagon, was on the wagon, some stuff went down. I'm sitting there, and I've got my computer open, my laptop open, got a desktop right there, with all the fancy equipment. I'm exporting the file to try and upload it to this thing, to Google Drive. We're getting a real behind the scenes look is what you're getting right now. So all that happens, right? So I'm chilling. We're about to start the second half of the show. Brennan's about to exit the wagon, and all of a sudden the door to the podcast lab opens. So the podcast lab is a small room, and it's got a little on-air light outside. So you flick the on-air light, and everybody knows not to come in. It's like a legit studio. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I just hear the door open, and I got all of a sudden like something snapped in my brain. I'm like, I'm kind of mad, but it's cool. I didn't know who it was. Maybe they had a good reason to come in. So they open the door. You hear the creak. It's like
I heard it.
You heard it, and it's this dude, this white-haired fellow. Must be he's a professor, I guess, in the journalism school here. I don't know who he is, and he looks at me and says, "What are you doing?" I said, I'm doing a show. And he says, well, we have this reserved for a class. And I was like, all right, I'll get out. I'll let you do your thing. That's fine. We just got done recording the first half. I'll leave. It's cool. So I said, all right, let me pack up my stuff. So I start packing up my stuff, and all of a sudden, this dude comes around, stands behind me, which has already made me feel uncomfortable, and brings it. He like gestures to his class like to come in. So one by one, these people would just start filing into this tiny room. It's about 20 people in this tiny room. I'm trying to gather up my belongings. He's standing behind me, and he starts teaching. He starts talking about, well, this is this equipment. This is what this does. You can actually come in here, and we can use this for class sometime. And he's talking, and I'm sitting there gathering my stuff, putting my jacket in my book bag, trying to gather all my stuff. And it's that class is sitting there staring at me while I'm trying to get all my stuff together. And then
He's trying to teach, and it's like, dude, nobody's listening to you. The dude was not nice at all about anything. Like, this is a free country, man. I could do whatever I want. I was doing a show. I was chilling. Like, I was doing my thing. I'm doing my job. And he just kind of decides to come in, disturb the peace, have his entire class watch me pack up. I'm mad, Alex. How you gonna do that to somebody? If I ever have a class with him, man. If I ever have a class with him. Ooh,
You're gonna let him know.
I'm gonna let him know hard. I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna get that dude fired.
Hard.
I don't know who he was, but he's on my list.
He's on your hit list.
No, he's not on my hit list. Nope. I want everyone to know I'm not gonna shoot anything or anyone. Nope. Not me. Don't have a hit list.
Yikes.
So that's it. So that's why now I'm sitting in my dorm room with low level equipment, and I feel like you, honestly.
Hey.
Oh.
Well, there's that. Your suggestion circle turned soapbox.
Yep.
A lot of S's in that sentence.
Glad you don't have a lisp.
Lisp. Hello, my name is Eliath. Shout out to all my wrestling fans. So my suggestion, circle with an S, double S, S-I-R-C-L-E, circle, is get it together.
Uh-oh.
Video went viral on Thursday of who they called Brad and Chad trying to break into GNC, which really wasn't the case. It was two guys, we assumed, trying to break in to a store of some sort. So each Brad and Chad, we'll call them, have a rock in their hand. And you can see this in the black and white security footage. It's late at night. So Brad, he runs up to the, what I assume is either a door or a window with his rock, and he chucks his rock at the window. And you can tell it didn't break because Chad is starting to wind up, but he's behind Brad. And as Chad's winding up, Brad is going to run to his right to go grab another rock. But as he's running to go grab another rock, Chad goes ahead and lets loose. And Chad's rock nails Brad right in the head.
Oh.
Brad is out cold. He is out cold. Chad knocked Brad out cold. Like, he's not moving. Cold. So Chad goes and grabs Brad under his shoulders and, like, starts dragging him away. So either there's two things that happen here. Number one, Chad fucked up bad. Or number two, Chad turned on Brad. Undercover CIA mission. I've been watching too much Burn Notice recently. But that might be the case. I don't know.
And he took him out.
Right, he took him out. So my suggestion is either A, get it together, or B, get you an operative like Chad, CIA. Look at me making suggestions to the CIA.
Well, maybe they can hire you. You're probably pretty good at turning on your friends.
Wow.
Sorry.
That sounded personal.
I mean, you did leave me for a little bit. You're a traitor. You started a new podcast without me, so.
Sorry, Vic.
Yeah, I brought it up in the show. I brought it up on the air. I don't really care. We're open on this podcast. We're open to everybody. Our feelings, everything.
Just jump on a bandwagon.
Okay, sure. So, I wasn't planning on telling the last story because I didn't know it was going to happen. So, I have another story to tell you, Alex. On Valentine's Day, good old Valentine's Day, you know, the day of love, as they call it. I was eating alone at lunchtime. You know, I was just chilling in the dining hall. You know, just eating some stuff, eating some corn. Actually, I was eating corn. You know, like corn. You know, like not on the cob, just corn. So I was eating the corn at the table by myself. I got my headphones in. I'm listening to something. I'm eating corn. I'm drinking water. You know, I'm chilling. I'm just doing my thing. I'm chilling. All of a sudden, I'm sitting on. It's a 2-person table, right? It's only me. I'm by myself. It's cool. I'm not mad or anything. This dude walks up. He's probably 50, something like that. He's a little chunky. He's a little chunky, little hefty. He walks up to me. I see him like slowly walking towards me, right? And it's like at my peripheral vision. And So I'm still, eating my corn. I'm chilling, eating my corn, right? So he walks very close to me, and I look up, and he starts to like walk away as soon as I look up, and he sees me look up, and he looks down at me and goes, and just makes like this weird gesture, like points to the seat across from me, and he's like, kid? That's all. I don't even know if he said an English sentence. I don't know what he said. So he sits down. So it's me and this dude, right? We're sitting in the dining hall around this busy dining hall. Just me and this dude sitting there, right? I'm eating my corn, and he's sitting across from me. I don't know him. All I said was, yeah, of course. Yeah, whatever. You can sit down. That's fine. Alex, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Me and this man sat together for, I'd say, about 3 to 4 minutes. Maybe a little longer.
I thought you were going to say hours.
No, not this time. 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 5. We didn't say a word the entire time he sat there. Not one syllable came out of our mouths. We sat there in complete silence. I'm sitting there eating my corn, just chilling, eating my corn, still eating my corn. This guy has like a burger and fries, and just starts like slowly picking up the fries and eating them. So I start thinking, right? I'm like, okay, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. I got to get out. I got to do something. So I start eating a little faster, right? I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got to leave. So in my head, I start thinking, okay, when I leave, I'm just gonna get up and be like, all right, I gotta run, gotta go to class or something like that. It was nice seeing you. I hope you have a good day. I was just gonna say something nice like that and leave. Before I could get up to leave, my man sitting across from me has barely touched his food. He ate like some of his fries. The whole burger's still sitting there. Hadn't touched it. The dude gets up and walks away. Doesn't say a word to me. Doesn't say a single. The dude just gets up slowly and just walks away. I see him put his dish on like the little it's like a little conveyor belt where like the dirty dishes go. He put
with the burger still on it.
He ate next to nothing. Put it on there. I never saw him again. But he didn't leave the dining hall. That's the thing. I saw him walk to another part of the dining hall, and he was still in there. I just never saw him again. It was the most awkward. Like, I'm jumping on the bandwagon of awkward silences because that was the most awkward moment potentially of my young life.
You're saying he was 50 years old?
Yes. The dude didn't say a word to me. Like, I'm just shocked about the fact that he slowly got up and walked away and just didn't say a single thing. Like, Alex, was I in the wrong there? Should I have said something to him?
I mean, maybe just like, hey, what's your name?
Why?
Why do you want to sit by me? So
I don't know, why didn't he initiate? Like he should initiate the conversation. Like I didn't plan for this.
So, was there no other tables available?
There had to have been another table available somewhere. Like it was busy, but it wasn't that busy. But I mean, like I don't know. Did he feel bad because I was sitting alone? Like I don't know, dude. But it was too much for me. I couldn't deal. So there you go, jumping on the bandwagon of awkward silences. Life sucks.
You had a cute Valentine's Day date, and that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with the theme of Valentine's Day. I'm jumping on the bandwagon of capitalism.
Okay.
So, Victor, Carly and I, my girlfriend, we don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. We do dinner. That's about it. I don't believe in it at all. I think it's dumb. I think the idea of it is ridiculous, but that's beside the point. The main fact of it is it's genius because you're capitalizing on the idiots. And no, I won't be one of those idiots, Victor, but the idiots will be the idiots. Did you by any chance buy any goods on Valentine's Day for maybe a gift for someone? Did you buy any like flowers or anything?
Are we talking about specifically on Valentine's Day?
Yeah. If you bought like flowers or something.
I bought chocolates on Valentine's Day. I bought roses before that, but yeah. So yeah.
But how far before? Like just the day before?
About a week before.
Oh, okay. So I follow. You bought the chocolates on
Correct.
Valentine's Day. And how much?
$3.51, I believe. It was a tiny box, very tiny. I'm very poor.
Would it be less than that usually though?
I don't. It was one of the heart-shaped boxes of chocolate, so that wouldn't exist.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not helping
Well,
with
sorry.
my point. But anyway, what I've noticed is flour delivery online, and then regular flowers, just at your local
Yes.
grocery market, they
Yep,
skyrocket.
yep,
They triple.
Yep.
Roses instead of 15 are now
Yep.
45.
Yep.
Chocolate-covered strawberries are now $20 for 3.
What?
Something like that.
There's no way.
The prices for these little things that usually are not this much 364 days out of the year skyrocket
You're right.
because people are going to buy them still.
You're right.
I'm jumping on the bandwagon of capitalism.
Right.
We're creating a great American economy of idiots buying flowers on Valentine's Day. I'm jumping on the bandwagon of
I
capitalism.
respect it. I mean, you're right. I was in the grocery store on Valentine's Day, and I was looking around at people, and it was packed. It was like the middle of the day where it probably wouldn't have been packed, but you have all these people like rushing to get Valentine's Day presents and stuff. It's like it's pretty crazy. Dude, did you know like a dozen roses I looked at the other day are $30 where I was. $30.
That's I usually pay about 10.
$30, Alex.
I usually
For
pay about
flowers
10.
that will probably die very soon.
Yep.
Wow. It kind of annoys me. Well, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. I guess good for them.
That day
It
is in the past.
and we only have we have 364 more days to worry about it again.
363. Get your days right.
Oh, as you know, I'm very bad at math. So I'm doing my best.
It's not a
all right?
leap year, right? Is it a leap year?
I
Is it a
think-
leap
is
year?
next year a leap year?
No, because next year's odd.
Next year? Oh, it's
wasn't
2018, isn't it? I thought it was 2017, or is
But was it a
2020?
leap- was 2016 a leap year?
2016 was a leap year. Yeah.
Because election years are leap
I don't
years,
know.
right?
Let's you want to get Jim Nantz to look it up?
It's been a while, Jim Nantz.
Yeah, we fired him for a little while, but we hired him back because he begged. Leap day. Apparently that's what they call February 29th is leap day. It's 2020.
Yep. So it is election
Huh.
years.
Well, okay, technically about every year is an election year, but yeah.
We'll end this show with the fun fact.
Can we end every show with a fun fact? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you know what we are going to end the show with, though?
Are we doing country version or rap version?
You know what? We've done the rap version before. I think it's time for the country version.
No, we haven't.
Okay, well we haven't done the rap, the new remix rap.
We've never done the rap version.
We put the original version of Stone on the show,
Oh well, yeah.
which
yeah.
that's still kind of rap. Okay, you know what? It's your call. I don't know what's gonna happen because Alex does most of the editing. So, I wanted to pretend like I did something. So, either you're gonna get a rap remix or a country western remix of my hit single, my Billboard Hot 100 single Stone. So you know what? Enjoy. Regardless of what you get, enjoy it, and let me know how it is because I'm excited.
For Victor at Frizzeel33 on Twitter, for Brendon Ayanbadejo for joining us today. Thank you, Brendan. We do appreciate it. For everybody else who helped out on today's episode, shout out to Livis. Goodbye. My name's Alex.
What up, Miss C? It's your boy V Hen. You knew I'd have to come at him again. 2018. 4 years later. Change the style up a little bit.
This is a Movies production.
One day I was walking down the street. I was really thirsty, so I walked a piece, had a big glass of water. Then I had to pee, so I ran all the way home. Then I opened up the door. I ran straight late to the party. My bladder couldn't hold it anymore. I lifted up the seat, and then I began to pee. They went from the kidneys to the ureter, down to the bladder, where it all matters. Then through the urethra, where I'll have to release you out the urinary meters. Then it exited my penis. Then it exited my penis. Later on that night, I had a pain that I couldn't fight. I was dizzy and I had to throw up, and my temperature was as high as you know. I couldn't take it anymore, so I had to go to the doctor. I got checked out. Yeah, boy, I was about to pass out. Then the doctor came in to give me my diagnosis. Last night I was up until 10, worrying about this prognosis. He said, well, Houston, we have a problem. I said, whatever it is, Doc, we're gonna solve it.
Tomorrow's production available in today's morning.
I'm about to put down this microphone. I'm about to put down this microphone. It was a kidney stone. It was a kidney stone. It was a kidney stone. And we out.
This is
Drive safe.
Production.
Thank y'all. It was a kidney.